Welcome to the Beast Rider family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be breaking down a lot of things. There's a huge announcements. As you guys know, it's Family Friday here in the Beast Rider family, and I am running fun, cool giveaways for all who have been so loyal to the Beast Rider family here on YouTube, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Instagram, what other social media platform you guys are on. You guys have been nothing but showing love and support. So I have always been one to give back. I don't know anyone in the 49ers media who does this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been doing this. I can't speak for anyone else. I'm sure they do it. But for me, I have season tickets to the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of you guys know that. And in good seats in section 134 on the 49ers sideline, shaded side, obviously, next to the $80,000 seats, row 31. So I am doing a fun giveaway on this Aloha Family Friday for anyone who subscribes and follows on Discord. We just opened up a new Discord account, so be sure to follow me and join us on Discord. That's a new thing that we're trending right now. We are working on it. We have a lot of people helping and guiding us in the right direction on Discord. So again, this is all for you guys. Again, this is nothing that's out of the ordinary for here in the Beast Rider family. I've been doing it since day one, since becoming Beat Rider with the team. And it's just a thank you, right? A nice token of appreciation for me to extend that hand to you guys. Because again, I wouldn't be here without you guys in my corner. So alongside the cool analysis, cool story, bro, you know, the spot on predicts, cool story, bro, making my game grades, cool story, bro, you know, that's all good and dandy. But again, like here we are sitting today, and I'm doing a live stream as I'm watching NFL Network, the Steelers-Eagles game, and we're going to talk about the Steelers in a little bit. But words can't express how thankful I am for you guys, because again, without you guys in my corner, I wouldn't be where I am today. So again, if you guys love football, if you guys want to see Trey Lance to the Bay, be sure to follow me on Discord. Everything is linked in the description box below if you're on YouTube. So if you follow me on Discord, you follow me on Twitter, follow me on I was going to say Snapchat, but not Snapchat. Twitch TV. We're going to do a live Twitch TV for the first time today. We have a team on the back end who monitors everything. So really have good things going on. But yeah, as a thank you, this is what I'm going to do for you guys. We're going to be picking a winner because the game is tomorrow for the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So I am running fun giveaways. And this is my tickets. All right, so legit, I'm picking two lucky winners for here and here. All right, seats 11 and 12 in section 134, row 31. That's me. All right, and I'm going to give this back to you. So again, everything's in there, and be sure to go ahead and follow, and you guys will be in the know before they know. So again, like I said, if you want to see Trey Lance to the Bay, this is really an opportunity for some of you may not even get a chance to witness a football game, let alone at Levi Stadium. So again, this is just a thank you from me to you. And we're going to select the person at random. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going on in that preseason game. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play one series, and then Trey Lance is going to take the majority of snaps. But it's going to be fun to watch Trey Lance's progress, because hearing a lot of good things. And from what I'm hearing, he's doing playing lights out, but then so is Jimmy Garoppolo playing lights out. So we really don't know. And you really can't gauge the body of work from Jimmy Garoppolo. If he has a 3 and out, I mean, okay, it's only one sample size to pull from, whatever. I'm not going to read too much into it, although there's a lot of people who will. All right. Jaeger 805 says, yee. Got the fire emoji. Ruben Villarreal from Facebook says, go Niners. Alex Martinez says, you're awesome, Ryan. We love you, brother. Thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate it. And you guys have been down since day one, whether it be on my Facebook groups, whether it be on my Facebook pages, whether it be on whatever social media platform. I mean, we are on so many social media platforms now. We are now on Discord. I mean, I guess I'm behind the game on Discord. All the millennials are on it, and they're like, Beast Rider, you need to be on Discord. And I'm like, why? I'm like, dude, it's like the new thing. And then I was like, is it new? They're like, no, it came out in like 2015. I'm like, oh. And so here I am at the gym, and these kids, and along with Jerry Yang also recommended Discord, and so did my boy Jeff. Yeah, Discord is, I guess, the new thing. I don't know if I never knew about Discord. I'm on social media all the time, so even me at my age, I have to keep up with the millennials, and it's really tough because we're all over the place when it comes to social media. But hey, if you're not in it to win it, then don't be in the game. All right, you got to be pot committed. All right, Patrick Reba says, "Woo, at work watching." Christopher Dupa says, "Man, cheer me up. I struck out on the Travis Scott's I know." Shay Lefley says, "I love you." Ruben Villarreal says, "Can't wait for this season." Yeah, this football season is going to be so fun to watch. I can't explain how fun it's going to be just for the fans to be in the stands. I think that's like the whole thing about it. It's, no matter what team you root for, you're going to be happy for whatever team. Just the fact that you're there, right? Just the fact that you're there, it's just going to bring that energy level. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And some of you who do not know what I'm talking about, I mean, you have the opportunity to win these tickets. I mean, it's really the luck of a draw. And 2 people are going to win. All right. In the past, I've always given it to one person so they can take a family member, maybe like their son or their child. But I think this way, you'll have more chances to win. Instead of one person, it'll be 2 people. And who knows, if you guys, obviously you guys are in the Beast Rider family. So you're like, hey, I won these tickets. Obviously you won those tickets from me because you want to be sitting in those seats in the first place. And so you can look and be like, oh, that's cool. I recognized you from blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of people don't put their real avatar on there or profile picture, but now it's a good way to interact with each other and kind of build the home of the good vibes only, right? All right. So there we go. Shay Leffler says, "Forever faithful." Lyle says, "I'm stoked that the season is starting soon." Yeah, me too. Me too. Thank you so much, Lyle, for going ahead and subscribing, following on all my social media outlets. Again, the bigger prizes we can provide, we're going to give it to you. So the bigger we grow, everybody wins. Everybody wins. And we're giving away season tickets. This is not like a out of the blue type of a deal. It is massive for people who don't follow me. But if you've been following me since day one, I've been doing this since 20... since Candlestick days, since 2011. 2011. Jim Harbaugh's first year. Yeah, 2011. Wow, how time flies. Michael Miller says, "Make sure to post the winners in the group." I'm going to post the winners on my social media platforms, not so much in the group. So again, that way you can gauge whether or not you're following me, right? Like, how am I supposed to know that? So it's not going to be specifically in each one of the groups. I mean, I'm in like 25 different groups. I'm not going to post on every single one. I'm just going to post on my social media platform. And that way you can see if you're the winner or not. And one of the ways that you're going to see if I'm the winner, if you're the winner or not, is you have to subscribe and follow on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch TV, do yourself a favor. It's in the description box below. You guys got to follow on Twitch as well. So a lot of social media platforms you guys got to follow on. It's Discord, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch TV, and all that in between. All right. And a lot of you guys are already subscribed to these things, aside from Twitch and Discord, because we just started that literally last week. Aaron Singh says, hello. If you haven't met my man, Aaron Singh, he owns Big Boss Man's Pizza. Holla at him from there. All right. Mike Corey says, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Been diehard fan for 25 years. That is dope. So you've been a Niner fan and you're from Cincinnati, Ohio. You're in the AFC North. What do you think about the Cleveland Browns? I think they might even go to the Super. I think they might go to the Super Bowl, man. They have a strong rushing attack. They have one of the top offensive lines in the NFL with Joe Bitonio, who was graded out as a first-team All-Pro in my grading system. I have year-end voting rights, voted him for Pro Football Writers Association first-team All-Pro. They have Jack Conklin there. There's a lot of good pieces that the Cleveland Browns have. And then talk about that two-headed monster running game with Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and then Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, coming back from an injury-plagued season. And you team him up with, of course, Jarvis Landry. I mean, the sky's the limit with Baker Mayfield behind center. Now, he's going to be the wild card, but he doesn't have to do too much because of the guys I just mentioned. You have a strong rushing attack backed up by the skill players on the outside. That's going to bode wonders. And then you look at the defense side of the football. They arguably have the best 1-2 edge rushing duo in the NFL in Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. So I'm really excited for the Cleveland Browns fans who really had no ray of hope. I mean, for the last, 20 plus years. I mean, here, you guys can't see it, but this little 49ers banner I have, that was a game again. I think it was 2010 with the Cleveland Browns versus the 49ers at Candlestick Park. And yeah, there was no Browns fans in the stands. It was really sad. Usually you see some fans in the stands, but there's like no Browns fans in the stands, bro. Usually Steelers travel well in the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens fans travel well in the AFC North for the most part, relatively speaking. But yeah, Cleveland Browns for the longest time, man. You guys haven't been doing well, but you guys are doing well now. So hopefully you guys get it done. I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for you guys. Melissa Phillips George says, seeing the 49ers play again this year in Arizona. That's what's up. Arun Singh says, Loki G forward to tomorrow's game. I think he meant looking forward to tomorrow's game. I thought he meant Loki from Disney's channels. Disney Plus. That Loki series. I'm watching that. Lyle Fenimore says, I haven't been to Levi's yet. You have not been to Levi's yet? Well, you might be in luck if you follow on all my social media platforms, which is located in the description box below. 49ers Minded says, what's up, B-Side? What's up, 49ers Minded? You got to get up in this chat, man. So if you guys want to go ahead and enter this chat, by all means, let's go ahead and talk football. I'm all eyes and I'm all ears, all right? So we're going to go ahead and put this up there. You guys can go ahead and interact with the Beast Rider, and we can go ahead and get this ball rolling, all right? So news. I'm just going to talk about news, NFL news. I cover all 32. So Joe Schobert. All right. Joe Schobert was the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has now been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because they need inside linebacker depth with the abrupt retirement of Vince Williams, a great run stuffing defender who basically was top 5 in my grading system in terms of tackles for loss, penetrating the line of scrimmage as a run defender. Now, he was kind of a liability in pass coverage, but so was Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane also graded as a first-team All-Pro in my grading system in the games that he played, subbing in for Devin Bush, who had a torn ACL. Now, there's some people saying, well, Joe Schobert instantly becomes the starter, the plug-and-play, because he's due like $7.6 million that they're on the books, the Pittsburgh Steelers are, and that's the cap savings that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to get from the dead money associated to his contract that he just signed the year prior from the ultimate old regime with Urban Meyer coming in. So you can kind of see where the wheels are in motion. And looking back, if I had to take a guess, if it was me, I would roll with Robert Spillane. Now, I know Steelers fans are upset because what happened in the playoff game and how Spillane was just basically exposed in coverage. But I run grading systems on Robert Spillane, just like I do with a lot of the players. Not every player, that's impossible, but I pick and choose my spots on the top tier players, and then I have a formula on how I want to grade throughout the season. NFL Game Pass, when is Coach's Film going to come back? That's another story. But anyways, it needs to come back so I can do my job. But anyways, Robert Spillane has played extremely well in my grading system in the games that he started in place for Devin Bush. So again, when you put that all together, the trio of wide receivers with Joe Schobert, who's a tackling machine, coming in out of Wisconsin, I think it's going to bode well for the Pittsburgh Steelers and that tough, rugged defensive front seven. I already spoke about this in yesterday's live stream, how I believe the AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers, for now the third year in a row, have the best defensive front seven in all of football. Niner fans were saying, oh no, it's Nick Bosa and it's, DeForest Buckner. And I was like, no, I mean, those guys are great. But when you have Stephon Tuitt, who should be a household name in the AFC North, first-team All-Pro in my grading system, he had my vote for first-team All-Pro last year, all right? And you have Cam Hayward anchoring the edge in that 34-base defensive front. And then you have Tyson Alu, right, as the nose tackle, who transitioned from defensive end to nose tackle once Javon Hargrave left the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Playing at a first-team All-Pro in my grading system as a two-down run stuffer, right? So you have that. That's just talking about the defensive line. Then you add that in and mix that in with Devin Bush, the inside linebacker, right? You have Robert Spillane. Before that, you had Vince Williams, again, a great run-stuffing defender who can clog up running lanes behind or at the line of scrimmage and comes up with tackles for loss. He's very sound there. And then you mix that in with TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, in my opinion, and Bud Dupree in 2019. Now you bring in Alex Highsmith. Bud Dupree is now off to the Tennessee Titans, right? So Alex Highsmith played out a first-team All-Pro in my grading system last year. Actually, no, not first team All-Pro, Pro Bowl in my grading system. But yeah, Alex Highsmith. Don't sleep on Alex Highsmith. Don't sleep on Kevin Dotson. I'm telling you. Now they're like, oh, Mike Tomlin came out and said, you know what? Like he has to earn those first team reps and such and such. But no, Kevin Dotson's the Raging Cajun's the real deal. I just think he's going to be a stud. I like Kevin Dotson. I like Chase Claypool. I like Deontay Johnson. I mean, they already have Juju Smith-Schuster, who returned to the Pittsburgh Steelers, didn't want to sign that 1-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens. That's why they got Sammy Watkins instead. And he decided to return, just like Tyson Alulu, who was going to go back to his roots in Jacksonville, decided to come back as well. So you can kind of see where this is going. The Pittsburgh Steelers are there's a reason why they're the gold standard. The reason why they're the gold standard, and GM Kevin Colbert has done an excellent, tremendous job, along with head coach Mike Tomlin, in really getting that AFC North under wraps. But again, there's a lot of missing pieces. When it comes to the AFC North, you look at the wide receiver position in the AFC North. Look at the Baltimore Ravens. I just put out a podcast yesterday on Michael Thomas requesting a trade, the likely landing destination spots for him. I already mentioned the LA Chargers, Baltimore Ravens, and of course the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is the obvious choice dating back to Urban Meyer's days with Michael Thomas at the Ohio State University. So you kind of look at the depth chart. You kind of look at how much money the Baltimore Ravens and GM Eric DeCosta has. It's about $7.6 million, give or take. And so you kind of want to see if you can actually get a guy like Michael Thomas and kind of see if he can, be in the foreseeable future. The good thing about it is it's very team friendly. His deal, he has no guaranteed money tied beyond 2021. So when you take that into effect, it's very team friendly for a GM. If you're looking at the financial snap sheet and be like, okay, yeah, it's a risk versus reward, because was dealing with a high ankle sprain that required surgery, and he was dealing with a hamstring injury. He did get in a fight with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but if he can put it all together, new team, new culture, fresh start, can he return to that 2019 Offensive Player of the Year status that he was, like Jerry Rice was? And again, there's only 2 wide receivers who were named Offensive Player of the Year in NFL history, and one was Michael Thomas. The other is the great Jerry Rice. So I don't know. I think Michael Thomas would be a perfect fit. Jaeger805 says, I'm ready to see my Trey and Jimmy ball out. 49ers Mike says, I need to get on your Discord. Hey, man, join us on Discord. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good thing coming. And I know I'm my own hype train, but it is what it is. Like, we're going to run cool giveaways. We're going to run exclusive giveaways for all who follow on Discord. So a lot of cool things coming your way if you do. I mean, you're in it to win it. You're in it to win it. If you're not in it, then sorry, not sorry. But yeah, there's no incentive for you not to join, right? There's always an incentive to join. Ruben Villarreal says, I'm thankful for you guys that share the game. I live in South Texas, so not too many games broadcasted. You know what I was going to do is I did this on Hot Mic with Grant Cohn. I am going to go ahead and do a live stream like I'm doing right now. Obviously, I can't show the game because that would be considered illegal, but I will have it on TV and I'll just talk about the game, like my thoughts and everything. You guys can chime in. Just like I did with the NFL draft, same exact format. And I think I'm going to do that. And just when I have the tickets to give away, I mean, if family or friends aren't involved or something like that, I'm going to go ahead and give away these tickets. So it's a win-win. I've been to enough games, covered enough games up in the press box, been a beat writer for the team, been on the field. I've been there, done that. It's nothing new. I want to give back. And I've always been one to do that, even when I was doing those things. Jaeger805 says, at first I didn't want Jimmy to succeed. I was on the Trey hype train. I think we're all on the Trey. I am excited for Trey Lance. I also want to see Jimmy Garoppolo succeed. But again, I'm not sure he will succeed. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Jimmy hater. I want him to succeed. I do. I truly want him to succeed. Why do I not want? There's no incentive for him not to succeed. For me to not want him to succeed. So it's like, we just have to see how it plays out. We just have to see how this thing plays out. But in the end, I think it's going to be fun. All right. As Discord is going on, I see some stuff on Discord right now. Jaeger804, I want to get a first for Jimmy. A first round pick for Jimmy. I don't think it's going to happen, man. I don't think it's going to happen. Mike Corey, I got lucky with the 17th game. The 49ers are coming to Cincinnati. There you go. Are you going? And you're going to go to the game. Michael Miller says, your giveaway is pinned to the top of my group. Thank you so much, Michael Miller, for the love and support. Go follow Michael Miller. He's on the Beast Rider family as well on the channel. Now, you may like him, you may not like him, but he always speaks his mind, which I really, really respect. And you may not agree with him. I mean, people don't agree with me sometimes, right? So there's always that level of respect. So if you want to follow Michael Miller's group, which is an awesome group, go ahead and do so at 49ers Fans for Life on Facebook. And like I said, I'll be posting everything on my social media as for the winners. All right. Melly Villanueva says, hello from Las Vegas. Oh, you're from Vegas. Are you a Vegas fan? Are you a Las Vegas Raider fan? No, you're a Niner fan. You have to be a Niner fan. Well, I don't know because you're coming from Facebook, and I'm in a few Raider Facebook groups, so I don't know if you are a Raider fan or not. Alex Martinez says, honestly, do you believe that Trey Lance is better than Garoppolo? I think he has a higher ceiling than Garoppolo. I think that's without question. Do I think he's better? I think it's hard to, again, Jim Trotter came on the show, right? Jim Trotter, one of my mentors, came on my show, one of my biggest mentors, and if not the biggest mentor. And we talked about this, right? And he had some stats. We were just talking here in the Beast Rider family. We were just spitting out stats. And he says, look, Ryan, I wasn't going to do this, but he busts out his paper and he says, look, and he's just spitting out statistics. If you want to see that podcast or that NFL content video with Jim Trotter, my man of NFL Network, he just spit out stats on why rookie quarterbacks ultimately more times than not fail. Now, I'm not saying Trey Lance is going to fail. I think he's going to succeed and be a generational talent. But it is interesting to point out how so many quarterbacks in real time, we are so high on these quarterbacks who never pan out. They never pan out. Like, never. Like, the odds are not in your favor. If you're in a Vegas casino, you would bet against these top quarterbacks because the odds are against you. Now, there are one-offs. Every draft has its own identity. We know this. Same with the season. I think NFL season, if you're betting, not saying we're talking about betting here, but, if you're playing the odds, every NFL season has its own identity. It's a copycat league. So you're going to see different things come into play, and people are just always going to try to catch up, have new wrinkles with whatever schematics that they have on the offense or defense side of the football. So it's an ongoing game of chess. This is not a game of checkers. It's a game of chess, guys. So ultimately, do I think Trey Lance is better than Jimmy Garoppolo? Potentially, yes. And if I was to roll the dice on if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be worse than Trey Lance, I would say yes. Yes, I like Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the prototypical quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. I love Trey Lance. Give me Trey Lance over Jimmy Garoppolo. But again, you don't want to throw the kid in the fire too much. And I already talked about this. And we had Randy Mueller on the show, right? Randy Mueller, the 2000 NFL Executive of the Year for the New Orleans Saints. We talked about this, and I asked him, when you, as a GM, and your scouting department, and you're scouting a player, right, from a small school, not even a Power 5 conference, could be Division 2, could be Division 3, like Quinn Miners, right? How do you convert that? Do you look at the traits? Do you look at the critical factors? I mean, how do you gauge leveling up from the FCS to the FBS to the FBS to the Power 5, from the Power 5 to the NFL level? I mean, that's a lot of layers that you have to project in order to really see if that player is going to fit inside your scheme. Right? So ultimately, I think Trey Lance is going to be okay. He's smart. He gets it. But again, the defenses that he's facing are not the NFL style of defenses that you're going to be facing when you face that FCS competition. I mean, we had Dylan Farrell on here, my man Dylan Farrell, and we talked about this, right? He played offensive tackle for the San Francisco 49ers, offensive guard and center, right? So he can play the piano along the offensive line when needed, right? But he was talking about the different techniques. Oh, if you're playing a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 eye technique, even at that level, the players have a hard time deciphering what technique a player is playing. It's like, this is like fundamentals, but not fundamentals, if that makes sense. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. John Zach says, congrats to who wins. I'm in Texas. Well, you can win in other things, John Zach. You know how we roll. We run Beast Rider Family giveaways all the time. Mel won. She's local, but then we had Tony Nagatani, who's all the way in Hawaii. He won, right? He won something. So I'm always down to give back. Doesn't matter what country. I even ship stuff out to the UK, and I cover the shipping costs for that. So I don't care where you're from. Shay, as long within reason, obviously. Shay Leffler says, pick me, and my daughter is going against the Packers. All right, that's what's up. Greg Wade Tanner says, what's going on with Hurd? I haven't heard any news on Hurd. But yeah. Yeah, so here we go with that. Haven't heard anything new. Robert Watson, mahalo for the super sticker and super chat. If you guys like the channel, like the Beast Rider family vibes we are striving to build here in the Beast Rider movement, consider sending me a super chat, home of the good vibes only, where we cover all 13 NFL teams and including football, college football, I should say. I got an early rundown on the 2022 NFL draft class. I want to put my stuff out there before anyone else. And if you look at my Twitter, YouTube receipts, whatever, it's all posted up there. I have the Senior Bowl prospects to watch for. I have my watch list. I have game grades because I get coaches film on the college game products. So I am really eager to see what a guy talking about edge rushing, right? If Nick Bosa goes down, I mean, Niners going to be looking for an edge rusher, right? Who's at the top of the list? I like the Ohio State factory, man. You got Chase Young, you got Nick Bosa, and here you have Zach Harrison. Zach Harrison, number 9, if I'm not mistaken, great a lot of players. I believe he's number 9 for the Ohio State University, and he's a guy who can get to the quarterback. Now, is he on Nick Bosa or Chase Young's level now? Absolutely not. But he's very consistent, he's very reliable, and he's equally consistently good pass versus the run. He can get to the passer. He has an array of pass rush moves. He's not a one-trick pony. So I like what Zach Harrison's going to bring. I think he can ultimately have 7 to 10 sacks this year, if not more. And again, based on the quarterback pressure rate in my grading system, he's been playing extremely high. So Zach Harrison is another guy. Myjai Sanders from Cincinnati is another guy. I really like him. I like his get off. He does kind of guess on the snap count, which I pointed out earlier. So Myjai Sanders, I think he's number 21, if I'm not mistaken. He's another guy graded a lot of college players already. DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. I like him. He plays a 4-3 defensive end position, but I think he's better suited as a 4-3 3-tech defensive tackle. Now, you can kind of mirror that how you see fit based on what kind of scheme you're running. And again, if it's a 4-3 over or 4-3 under, that can kind of play a role. But other than that, DeMarvin Leal's good. Obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. I think he has a high ceiling of any edge rusher in this draft class. But guys like that, I mean, obviously my number 1 edge rusher is only a freshman now going into a sophomore season. That's Will Anderson from Alabama. So there's a lot of different guys who are going to make some moves and power play moves throughout the year. And it's going to be interesting to see who really sits atop that edge rushing draft class. Because again, you have George Karlaftis too, right? If I'm pronouncing his last name right. So a lot of guys on the up and coming, but I'm really eager to see how they do. And then when you talk about the nose tackle, defensive tackle position strictly at nose guard, you look at guys like Fladarian Mathis, right? Like DJ Dale, those types of guys. I really like those 2 guys from Bama, not because I'm being biased. Obviously, second level backers. You can look at Christian Harris. You look at guys like Christopher Allen, right? Christian Harris is an inside linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, but Christopher Allen plays outside. And then defensive backs, it's not as strong. Again, the defensive back class is weak for the 2022 NFL draft class in my grading system. I just don't see that. I just think it's going to be another weak class. Like, I don't see it being as strong as it was in like previous years, right? So guys who stand out, obviously Derek Stingley Jr., I called him out freshman year. I thought he was a great player. Derek Stingley Jr. at LSU, great player. There's a few other guys. I mean, Josh Jobe from Alabama. He is a very solid, has a height, weight, speed to mirror and match, but he does have some red zone efficiency problems in the games that I graded him. Number 28 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And there's a few other players off the top of the list, but off the top of my head, I mean, those are the guys. I mean, there's a few other guys on the back end. I mean, the kid out of Notre Dame, a safety, he's okay, he's all right, but again, we'll just have to see. We just have to see how this all plays out. Obviously, on the wide receiver business, I really like George Pickens out of Georgia. I like him a lot. But yeah, we could just go down the list. This is all off the top of my head. Sorry. Melissa Phillips George says, need help with my fantasy football team. Well, you're in luck. Follow me on Discord. I am now launching my fantasy football predictions. And I am happy to announce that because people have been asking me. And for my family and friends who play with me, they no longer want to play with me because I just murder them in fantasy football. And I'm going to break it down. Now, I will say this. I do not play PPR. So all my analysis is non-PPR. It's only standard. And I will give you the rundown on my sleeper picks. I will give you my rundown on if you're on a keeper league on who to keep. Obviously, I think that trend already started. I think you guys already had your keepers. But I will tell you who to play and who to sit. If you watch my YouTube and Twitter receipts, you will know that my very and only fantasy football video that I put up just for fun, because I wasn't even playing fantasy football because my friends, they don't want to play with me. And they're like, hey, put up a video like that's going to like just blow people's minds away. I was like, okay, cool. So I did my research and I was like, all right, so what position do you want? Give me a position. They said wide receiver. I said, okay, cool. All right. Did some research. I said, you know what? Let's just go with the Seahawks and the Niners. I said, yeah, I think after Tyler Lockett, and you can all see this on YouTube, just type in Tyler Lockett, Beast Rider, fantasy football. I said, you know what? You should sit Tyler Lockett And everyone's like, what? I was like, yeah, you should sit Tyler Lockett. Like, dude, he just had a career game. He had 200 receiving yards. He had 3 touchdowns. I said, yeah, you should sit him. And I said, okay, well, who should we play then? I said, play Brandon Ayuk this week. And they looked at me like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. Bench Tyler Lockett, play Brandon Ayuk. Go look at that game and you tell me who scored more points. My buddy actually won money on that. And by the way, Brent, you still owe me money. Brent still owes me money from that. And I did not forget. At least take me out to dinner, Brent. At least take me out to dinner. All right, Robert Watson. Oh, by the way, Alex Mosqueda, you still owe me dinner for our bet too. Didn't forget about you, Alex Mosqueda. Robert Watson's from the Beast Rider family. Love you. Niner faithful, let's go. All right, Jaeger805 says, Niners are deep at the D-line. They are. Niners are deep at the D-line, but hey, not as deep as you would think because, again, all this hype about edge rushers. I mean, if Nick Bosa goes down, that's going to have a domino effect. You already know how this goes. You already lost to Forrest Buckner. You already lost your 3-tech defense tackle. You take on double teams. First team All-Pro. If you guys missed it, DeForest Buckner, you can see my YouTube videos I posted earlier, just two videos prior to this one. And Tom Pelissero, me, and DeForest Buckner had a little Twitter exchange, and it wasn't directed at me. It wasn't directed at me. So I just said, well, it was directed at me, but wasn't directed at me. Anyways, Tom Pelissero made the comment saying the Colts don't really have a household name who can kind of consistently take double teams and basically, be an edge rushing presence, right? And I just quoted whatever it said, whatever Tom Pelissero said, and then I put it out in a tweet. I didn't tag anyone, and DeForest Buckner picks up on it, obviously, because he obviously, follows me, I guess, which is not surprising. And then he goes, he tells me, he says, that's disrespectful, and tags Tom Pelissero. And then NFL Network picks up on it, and they're like, we're going to use this, Beast Rider. I was like, okay, go ahead, go for it. And so they, it's kind of like a joke. I knew it was coming before it went on air. And then I was like, okay, cool. And so they put it on there, and Tom Pelissero was like, okay, and now I have to come on and explain myself because that's not what I meant. I meant the edge rushers at the defensive end position. There's no household names. And I would agree with that. I would agree with Tom Pelissero. I get what he meant too. So after watching it, I agree with Tom Pelissero. His mind was stuck on the defensive ends, but he kind of combined everyone, including the IDLs, interior defensive linemen. So I got your back, Tom Pelissero, on that one. I got what you're saying. We all make that mistake. And when we're just covering so many NFL teams, you can get discombobulated sometimes. Is that even a word, discombobulated? Michael Murray, I'm out. Not a Pittsburgh fan. You don't have to be a Pittsburgh fan. You just have to be a Beast Rider family fan. And if you don't know, you don't have to be a fan of a specific team, because I know all you guys are like, I don't care about these teams that you're talking about, but you kind of have to pay attention to it, especially if you play fantasy football. You guys know you can't just pick guys on the 49ers or guys on the Steelers and expect to win. No, why? Because there's bye weeks involved. There's schemes involved. I mean, is it head-to-head? Is it by a point system? I mean, that plays a role. Is it PPR? Is it standard? How's the scoring system go? Is it IDP? Is it individual? Come on. You have to know everything. Jerry Yang says the Discord is legit. Hey, Discord is legit. The Discord is legit, Jerry Yang. My man, Jerry Yang. All right, Mr. Teenage 2005, and he's been helping us, Jerry Yang. Nick Mullins, 5 passes. He's one of the moderators, actually. Mr. Teenage says Nick Mullins, 5 passes, 2 interceptions. Matthew Regalado says, how long do you think Jimmy stays a starter? Well, I already covered this extensively. I think it depends on Jimmy G, right? I think if they go in their first 5-6 games, if they go 4-2, if they go even 4-3, I think they're going to roll with Jimmy G. Now the question remains to be seen. If the inverse is happening and they go 3 or 4, if they go 3-5, then you make a switch. I think ultimately Jimmy Garoppolo, if all things stay equal, right? If Nick Bosa or that defense, any one of those key players goes down, it's over. It's a wrap. They're going to roll with Trey Lance. Why? Because they don't have the defensive firepower to stay with the teams on their schedule. They just don't have it. I mean, you have to have the healthy horses there. And with a new defensive coordinator at the helm, it's going to be a lot tougher, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, prove me wrong. If you think I'm wrong, prove me wrong. But, that's my projection. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. So ultimately, if everyone stays healthy, I think Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers defense is going to do extremely well, honestly. I just think they're going to be extremely well. Now, if key players get hurt, In the first 5 weeks, Alex Mack may go down. Let's say hypothetically he goes down. Let's say Deebo Samuel goes down. Then we're going to run into some problems. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, the depth that the 49ers have is not good depth, in my opinion. It's not good depth. I mean, it's depth, it's there, but how good is that depth? I mean, compared to the rest of the league. And again, that's why you need to follow all other 31 other NFL teams, because you can't just compare to the guys on your roster and just name drop people on your roster. Anyone can play Madden and do that, but name a game of who's this, who's that. But comparable to what? What are you comparing to? And you got to compare to the rest of the league and specifically inside the division. That's how I do business. I think that's the whole point of the Beast Rider family, is making you guys think outside the box, other than the sole team that you're being tied to, right? But I understand not everyone has a legwork, everyone has a 9 to 5, but that's why you have me. I'm your eyes and ears. Mahalo, Scott Henderson, for the super chat and super sticker. I really appreciate the love and really appreciate it. He says, Jimmy will have a great year. Everyone stays healthy. He may have a Pro Bowl year. Oh, okay. Chino Lee from the Beast Rider family says, Yo, Beast, been super busy with work. Do you think with John Lynch's comment about Trey Lance means he will possibly start sooner than later? Also, with that being said, would Lynch's job be on the hot seat? I wrote that John Lynch's job is on the hot seat. Samely because, if you go back and watch my YouTube videos and just type in YouTube search John Lynch, Beast Rider, hot seat, right? Whatever you want to know on YouTube or anything I had to say in my NFL content analysis insights, you can go to YouTube. But more importantly, head over to Discord, because Discord's where I'm really going to drive the traffic and all my analysis for fantasy football. We're going to have sports. Well, I wouldn't call it sports betting, but the lines are out. So it's kind of like NFL Showtime does it. We're going to do the same exact thing with the lines, and then how you should we're going to take it a step further. We're going to say, hey, you should parlay these teams, maybe run a 10-point teaser, maybe run a 7-point teaser, a 5-point teaser, a 3-point teaser, and then buy some half points if you need be based on the Vegas odds. So this is something I've been doing ever since high school, to believe it or not. And yeah, I was known as the high school bookie without being the high school bookie. Like, obviously gambling's illegal, but in high school we'd make bets like, hey, let's bet for In-N-Out. And like, that was the big thing. Okay. So I was like set for In-N-Out. And like today, if you guys watch me on my IRLs in real life, you guys know In-N-Out's my thing. I mean, it's just one of those things. I just go to McCarthy Ranch, go get some In-N-Out. They already know my order. Been going there for years. So yeah. So I love betting. Betting odds. I should say I love betting. That sounds like a gambler. No, I love like when the lines come out and I'm like predicting it, because that's just like, okay, so not only are you predicting the team to win, but you're seeing if they're going to cover. And if you, all my friends are like, oh, NFL is rigged because how did that happen on the 1 yard line and the guy just threw it out in the end zone to safety? Now it didn't cover, or the guy missed an extra point at the end of the game, or that was a trash play. They just let him run into the end zone. It's like, that's the NFL for you. That's the NFL for you. It goes both ways. It can be in your favor. It can go against you. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about point spreads. We're also going to talk about over-unders, right? Like, okay, so if the over-unders at 40.5, based on the weather conditions, based on the teams, based on how I see it playing out, based on the scheme, if they're going to shorten the game, how they're going to play that, if they're going to go run after time of possession. I mean, I'm going to go through all this. And this is nothing new. I've been doing this for many years. It's not a secret. I mean, everyone knows I've been doing it. So I'm just going to put it out there. It's one of the services that I will provide, and I'm not afraid to put my analysis out there because it all checks out in the end. So Chino Lee says, Yo, Beast, been super busy with it. Do you think oh yeah. So we got that. As far as John Lynch on the hot seat, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I don't know. He could be. If things go sour and Trey Lance does not pan out, now I'm not saying it's not going to happen, and it's only going to be his rookie year, so he gets a pass. First 2-3 years, he's going to get a pass. But if he plays extremely bad, like Zach Wilson bad, I don't know. He could be, the hot could become hotter. Or could become hot, I should say. Because maybe it's like lukewarm, maybe not hot. But yeah, it could become hot. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he only had one winning season since the time he's been there. And that was that Super Bowl run. Jay Mangold said, check the hat game on some photos. She's a Niner fan. All right. Fornes all day, every day. All right. I can't see it because it's really small here. Jaeger 805 says, easy to judge stats. I want to see the decision making. Very true. Mr. TNA from Romania says, which is your favorite player in NFL that does not play for the Niners? Oh, man. It's without a question. I'm a defensive guy. For those who don't know, I mean, anybody who plays with me knows I'm a defensive guy. I love hitting people. Like, I don't know why. I like getting knocked out. I know that sounds crazy. I like getting knocked out, but I also like delivering the final blow too. So it goes both ways. But my favorite NFL player, I know this sounds crazy, but I like the Honey Badger. I like Tyrann Mathieu. Give me Tyrann Mathieu. He can do a variety of different things. He can line up as a free safety, strong safety. I like how he kind of mirrors coverage. You know, when you're the quarterback, that's the first thing, or one of the first things you look for. You look for the mic, the offensive line makes the line calls, and then on the third level, you see that strong safety or free safety to kind of disguise what kind of coverage they're in, pre-snap recognition, right? So based on what routes your receivers are running, you can either run a hot route depending on the coverage, come off his stem, and or whatever case may be. But more times than not, you're looking at that strong safety, seeing if he's in the box or if he's playing high or if he's playing deep or he's going to roam as an extra run defender, right? So again, down and distance plays a role. And no matter the down and distance, Tyrann Mathieu always, in my game grading system, from what I'm seeing, based on down and distance, doesn't matter the score really. He has a green light to kind of do whatever he wants to kind of disguise the coverage on the back end. So I would say Tyrann Mathieu. I love Tyrann Mathieu. Give me the Honey Badger. I think he's a Hall of Fame player. I think Honey Badger is a Hall of Fame player. I think he's the best safety overall in the NFL when you talk about coverage and matching, pattern matching receivers downfield. I like his ball hawking ability. I like his ability to fight and run support. So all these things factor into my grading system when it comes to the safety position, whether you play free safety or strong safety, which brings me to Jesse Bates III in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals. In my estimation, he's one of the top rated free safeties in coverage in the NFL, only behind Minkah Fitzpatrick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also comes in the AFC North. So again, you need to know all 32 NFL teams. Otherwise, how are you going to gauge Jimmy Ward across the NFL? You can say Jimmy Ward's great, but then what are you comparing it to? Based on a box score that you read, based on interceptions, based on passes breaks up? No, you have to actually grade the snap. You actually have to grade the snap. Come on, Game Pass. Come on, Coach's Film. Give it back to me. Give it back to me. Or should I say, give it back to us? Facebook user says, hi, Beast Rider. What's going on? Scott Henderson says, if he doesn't, we have Lance to begin his NFL growth. That is very true. That is very true. Jade Mangold says, Jimmy is crazy limited. Trey needs to run very few times and pass 95%. You know what? This is what I see from Trey Lance. People are asking me what I see from Trey Lance moving forward, and this is what I see from Trey Lance moving forward. I see a guy who Trey's pushing to be starting quarterback. All right, that's what's going on in the NFL Network if you watch it right now. All right, so he's pushing to be the starting quarterback. That doesn't mean that he's going to be the starting quarterback. That's just saying that he's pushing to be the starting quarterback. And I think that's going to add some value for Jimmy Garoppolo. Just more fuel to the fire for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So he's going to see this as he's reading this, like, oh man, here we go again. The GM, my GM, who they wanted me for one more year. The writing's on the wall for Jimmy Garoppolo saying, hey man, this is your last dance. Forget Netflix, Chicago Bulls. Jimmy Garoppolo, you're going to have your Netflix original of your own in one more year. The last dance. I don't know. Ming Xiong says, can't wait to see all the rookies play. A lot of hype coming from the practice. Let's go. 49ers Minded says, we have a lot of people in here. Jimmy can succeed after we trade him. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but I thought that was kind of funny. PPR is the only way to play. He says PPR is the only way to play. I hate PPR. I'm not a firm believer in that because you get garbage points at the end of the 2-minute drill. As you guys know, my Beast Rider 2-minute drill, I ask questions, a series of questions, and rapid fire those off to our guests here in the Beast Rider family. But PPR is points per reception for those who don't know. And I don't like PPR. I hate PPR because it's garbage time. So if you're going to play PPR, then just grab crappy teams because you know they're going to be airing it out in the second half. And a third wide receiver is going to get you like X amount of points every given 2-minute drill. Like, no, I don't like it. Now we can agree to disagree. I just like standard better. People like putting points on the board. Again, I'm a defensive guy. I like keeping the scores low. So that's why. All right. Tessa says, "Go Niners." I mean, all right. Melissa says, "Yes, my draft starts tonight. I'm first to draft in my league." You're first to draft in your league, and how is it PPR or is it standard? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what position you're going to go in. I don't know if you're going to go running back heavy. I don't know if you're looking to go wide receiver. Is it a snake draft? Does it go up and does it go down? I don't like snake draft, honestly. Whenever I do fantasy football, I don't do snake draft. And the reason is why is because it's kind of like the NFL draft. I look at it that way. If you're always picking in the middle, you're always going to get a middle tier player. So the depth is always going to be average at best, right? But if you pick at the top and pick at the end, you can get back-to-back picks depending on where you're at. So even if you get screwed in the middle rounds, you're still getting the top tier talents every other third round or second round, whatever the case may be. But I like doing it like this. I like, first, second, first picks first team one, team two, team three, and team four, let's say in team five, right? And then team five picks one, and then team five picks first in the second round, and then goes team one picks first or second in the second round, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, excuse me, and then goes 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and so on. I just like doing it that way. I think it's fair. I think it's more fair. Matthew Navarre says, "What's good? What is going on?" Marupa says, "What do you have for me? I need a cap hat this time." You need a cap hat this time. We can get you a cap hat. You want a cap hat? Do you want it fitted? Do you want a 6-panel hat? What kind of fabric do you want? I mean, do you want a U-pung hat? Do you want the new era hats? In my opinion, they're not as strong of a hat as in years past because they changed their manufacturing. And if you guys don't know, I know because I'm in that game. So 6-panel hats are always the way to go if you're going for a snapback. We can talk about it. I don't like fitted just because I think it loses its shape and form, especially if you're going to wear it in the rain. It's bygone, be gone, and be gone. So I like snapback. Jerry Yang, but I'll get you something going. We're going to work out on beanies. Everybody wanted beanies. They want the Beast Rider family swag, so they want that beanie. So we're going to launch beanies. Jerry Yang says, wish we can trade Jimmy G to get Buckner back. Oh, my goodness. Let's talk to DeForest Buckner. I'm sure he's watching this. The Niners and the relatives be watching this too. Fred Warner Sr. is one of my biggest supporters here in the Beast Rider family. You guys know that already. Leo Melton said, "Who has the edge on wide receiver 3 this year? Who has the edge in fantasy or who has the edge in real life?" That's funny because fantasy is real life, but is it because it's fantasy? I don't know. Who has the edge on wide receiver 3 this year? I think you're talking about the 49ers, right? Man, does it really matter? I mean, honestly, does that really matter? Because, I mean, think about it this way, right? Even without a wide receiver 3, everyone's hyping it up like wide receiver 3 is going to be like a position that like everybody needs. Yes, you need a good wide receiver 3, but I mean, how many targets realistically is going to have throughout the year? You have George Kittle. He's going to garner the lion's share of the reps as his team security blanket down the seams and window shopping him to create mismatches for that linebacker, right? So he's already set. Then you have Brandon Ayuk. Right? Brandon Ayuk is probably the wide receiver 1, no question about it. And then you have Deebo Samuel, wide receiver 2, who's going to be your gadget player. And then you have Kyle Juszczyk, who you just forked out all that money. You're going to just have him be a specific run blocker and a decoy? No, he's going to be used in the passing game more. Or at least that's what I would hope to give a guy that much money. You're going to have to give him some touches. So now you're looking at your 5th option. So realistically, in that 5th option, how many targets is that 5th option going to have? I mean, we all know Kendrick Bourne is now off to the New England Patriots, but, he's not even starting at this point from what I'm hearing, right? I think it's Jacoby Myers, right? So how strong is that wide receiver 3 and how realistically, how much of an impact is that wide receiver 3 going to be? Especially if they go double tight end sets, right? If they go 2 tight end sets, now we're talking about a different personnel grouping. So I don't know. I have no idea who the wide receiver 3 this year is. I don't know who has the edge. I think it goes back to the days. When was it? When they had DeAndrew White, and I was high on I love DeAndrew White, by the way. If you guys don't know DeAndrew White out of Alabama, good guy. Miss that guy. Tobias England says, "Haha must be one of the best names in NFL." Yeah, Clinton Dex making his way to the San Francisco 49ers. And again, the Niners have signed him because of the injuries to Jaquaski Tart and a few others. And everyone was high on Tullen. Oh, gosh, I can't pronounce. If you're watching, I apologize. I'm just gonna say the USC safety Talanoa Hufanga or Hufanga, right? I think it's Hufanga. Anyways, sorry if I butchered the name, but yeah, I mean he's there, but is he? I was watching game film of him, and I'm just not high on him as others are. I was actually higher on Taylor Mays out of USC, and he turned out to be a bust. So what do I know about USC safeties? But then you have Troy Polamalu kind of bounced back there early on, but Ronnie Lott, of course. But it just goes to show you that we really don't know. I hope Hufanga does well, but I mean, why'd they get HaHa Clinton Dix? For depth, for leadership. Melissa Phillips George says, "You help me beat the guys in my truck club on fantasy football. I will fly from New Mexico to California and take you to dinner." Sounds like a plan. I am all for that. We can make that happen. I am down. Honestly, this is nothing new. Like I said, Takumi Abe, right? He's from Hawaii. When Bob Lang was there, Takumi Abe he served in the U.S., right? U.S. Marines. And he came out. He was actually there for paying tribute, right, for serving our country. And he saw me on the sidelines. Dude, Beast Rider, like, you don't know me, but I follow you. And he's like telling me. Same with Terrell Turtle Hannah, another one, right? So these guys, they're in the Beast Rider family. Known these guys for years now, but they see me and they're like, "Hey, can I take a picture?" Sure, I take a picture. Like you don't know me, but you know me from social media. I'm blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So after everything happened, after the game happened, we exchanged numbers, and then we went out to dinner. Like literally went out to Fogo de Chao. Like literally went out to Fogo de Chao in Santana Row, and I just met these people for the first time. It was great. And people were like, "Dang, you're crazy," because these are straight. I was like, "Nah, man, like I'm good." But I do have to be careful because looking back, that is kind of. But nah. People say I do things like randomly. Like I just randomly like because maybe I'm not scared of any. I should be scared though. I should be scared of people, but I'm not. That's good vibes only. I got to be careful. I know I got to be careful. My friends say you got to be careful because you don't know who's who, and that you got to be smart about it because you don't know what can happen. So obviously I've kind of tightened that up, but if I have my bodyguards with me, like I need bodyguards. No, you never know. I mean, people are crazy out there. Yeah. Okay. What's up with the big homie? How you doing, big brother? This is your boy TC. All right. Manish Bassi says, "Hello, Beast. Happy Friday the 13th, Beast." Is it Friday? Oh, it is Friday the 13th. What's the giveaway? I didn't even know it was Friday the 13th. Nah, maybe I shouldn't go out now. It's Friday. Maybe I shouldn't go out to that dinner because it's Friday the 13th. I don't know. Not joking. It's not like we're going out today. All right. So let's take a look at this, right? Friday the 13th. Here we go. The Beast Rider family giveaway is for all who join on Discord, Twitch TV, YouTube, Twitter. You get the picture. If you guys are on those 4 social media platforms, you're in it to win it. Just be sure to go to the description box below, and all my social media is on there. It says follow us on social media. Go ahead and open these accounts and you'll be in. Discord's really good because you'll get notifications whenever I do a live stream. Like right now, whenever I go on Twitch TV, right? So Twitch TV is another one that you have to subscribe on because we're going to try to grow Twitch TV as we do live streaming on there. The only reason I'm doing live streaming on YouTube right now and Facebook Live is because we haven't gone to Twitch yet, but we are going to do Twitch TV in about, 30 minutes or so. And going to be on Twitch TV. So be sure to follow us on all those social media platforms. And you'll be entered for, I'll show you, because I guess you guys don't know. If you guys are just tuning in, these are my tickets, all right? For this Saturday's game, I'm going to select two lucky winners for my season tickets in this section, all right? You guys see that? All right? So these are my tickets. I'm going to give them away as I do every single year to the Beast Rider family. All right, Jets Gang says, "Can Jets get Lattimore for Crowder?" I don't know. I mean, Jamison Crowder's in the last year of his contract. I know Marshawn Lattimore is one of those guys that's been rumored in the trading block because they got Paulson Adebo. I believe it was in the 3rd round out of Stanford. He was injured, but they got him, or injured COVID, one of the two. But he didn't play last year. They also have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from New Orleans, who I really like. I mean, that's a tough one because Jamison Crowder's in the last year of his contract. which you could possibly, but how does the financials work? I have to actually run the numbers on that. I'll get back to you on that one, and I'll let you know what I hear too. So I gotta do some legwork on that. Gary, my man Gary, he used to write for me, says, Ryan, you're way off. First time the Niners have an excellent pass rush up the middle and plenty of depth coming from guys most fans don't ever know. Street, Givens. So Street, Givens, and Jones, etc. As to the guy smoking a bong who said Jimmy will have a great year, he may be right. His playing time, if any, would be mopped up duty in the fourth quarter. Go Niners. So he always said, okay, so he disagrees with me. He says I'm way off. I don't think I am, and I would be quick to disagree with that. I think you're just naming people on the roster. I mean, Contavious Street, can he stay healthy? I mean, Givens, if you look at my grading system, Givens is okay. I mean, is he a good backup? I mean, look around the league. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers have, right? They have guys like Isaiah Buggs, right? Nose tackle, right? Who can also shift out. You have Chris Wormley, right? Who they traded from the Baltimore Ravens. And people say, oh, they don't, no team should want to trade within the division. Well, it happens, right? Chris Wormley, right? Resigned and re-upped with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a backup, right? I think he is a sound backup player. But when you talk about Givens, Street, I mean, Jones is a starter. DJ Jones is a starter. Yeah, he does create pressure up front, but is he on the level of Tyson Alulu? No, he's not. Not my grading system. So again, you don't want to compare players to your own roster. You want to compare to the rest of the NFL. And the list can go on and on. I mean, we can talk about all these different teams. I mean, if you want to talk within the division, right? Look at the Seattle Seahawks. Now people can say, oh man, who do they have? They have Carlos Dunlap there, right? He re-upped in the midseason trade with the Cincinnati Bengals. I already did a mock-up on that. And why GM John Schneider went out and made that play. I think he was auditioning as in when I'm talking about Carlos Dunlap in that game. Was it the year prior, right? Or that year. And he had a hell of a game. And I think GM John Schneider just said, hey, we got to pull the trigger on that. So I just think that the depth that the Niners have is not good depth. Prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying they can't be good. That's just my prediction against our job. And time will tell who's right. Time will tell. All right. So, all right. Anthony Forte says, what do you want to know? Been playing fantasy for 15 plus years. Waruna Pereira says the Discord link does not work. Let me just go ahead and see if that works. I will go ahead and post that right now as I'm watching this video and see if it does work. Because if it doesn't work, then all you got to do is go to my Twitter and the link is in my bio and that does work. My moderators are letting me know right now it does work. So I don't know what's going on. They're saying it works. So I don't know what's going on there. But let me just double check, Waruna, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. On Twitter, they say it worked. Okay, so yeah, Runa's right. So Twitter works. Discord does not work because of the URL. Not necessarily it doesn't work. It's just not a populated link on that chat. So I got to change that, guys. I got to change that, and we'll get on that as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Varuna, for letting me know. But on Twitter, it's up there, man. So I know you follow me on Twitter. You like one of my tweets. Do me a solid and retweet my giveaway so people can know, and you can tell all your viewers and listeners that Home of the Good Vibes Only here in the Beast Rider family, we're moving over to Discord. That helped me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. Anthony Forte, and thank you so much for letting me know that Discord link does not work, Runa, because that's not a good thing. It actually does work, but you have to open it up in a new web browser. But I got to change that because who wants to do that? Anthony Forte, what do you want to know? Been playing fantasy for 15 plus years. What do I want to know? I don't want to know anything. What's up, G says, if Trey and JG are playing so well and Jefferson and Tart with injuries and signing haha, should we worry about the back end of the defense? Yeah, you should be worried about the back end of the defense. Absolutely. I think the depth in the secondary is not very strong. It's not very strong. Now, you can say that with the majority of NFL teams because, I mean, how many boundary cornerbacks and how many strong safeties and free safeties can really cover their ground or their respective zones? It all depends on the type of scheme that you're playing. If you're playing in a cover 3 as opposed to, 2 deep, man underneath, or if you're playing a lot of man, right? If you're playing a lot of cat coverage, or if you're playing a cover 5 or a sky coverage, I mean, that all plays a role in exactly, or, cover 1, single high, man underneath. I mean, these are different types of roles that the safety has to play. So you have to cover more ground depending on if you're in a 1-3 as opposed to a 2-4. But when you put that all into account, you have to mirror both, right? A safety has to be interchangeable. And we talked about this with Randy Mueller. Once again, if you follow me on the Beast Rider Family channel, because we cover all 32 NFL teams, we talked about how you need an interchangeable safety, one who come up in the box and light you up, and another one on the back end who can cover the ground. So ultimately, I think the Niners don't have that guy. I think they thought they had something special in Hufanga. Ultimately, we don't know yet. He hasn't taken an NFL snap, so I'm not going to put a grade on that yet or judge him because we have to see how he pans out. But ultimately, if I had to take a guess, I think they're hurting. I think they are hurting on the back end. Now, I think Jimmy Ward, top 3 free safety in the NFL, in my opinion. Top 3. In my grading system, he's the 3rd best free safety in terms of coverage, right behind Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jesse Bates III, who Jesse Bates III is in the contract snag with the Cincinnati Bengals. Anybody who gets Jesse Bates III, you're doing yourself a favor because Jesse Bates III can also light you up in the run game. He's very, very disciplined, very fundamentally sound. I have game grades on every single snap that he played in last year. If you guys want that, I'll be posting that, and I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on that and the whole entire AFC North. Obviously, James Washington, talk about wide receiver 3. He is now, or I guess he'd be considered wide receiver 4, right? With Juju Smith-Schuster, you have Chase Claypool, you have Deontay Johnson, and then you have James Washington, who was a wide receiver 3 at one point, but not so much anymore. And he's in the last year of his contract. Mason Rudolph can't be happy about that because they were teammates at Oklahoma State University, and he now wants out and requests a trade. You have other guys around the league in the NFL who requested a trade too, right? Guys like N'Keal Harry, right? We can talk about N'Keal Harry all we want, and I'm not so sure that people are so sold on Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is great, all right? Bill Belichick is one of the best. I think he's the best head coach to ever coach in the NFL, and that's high praise for him. But he doesn't draft well. He just doesn't draft well in terms of selecting wide receivers, right? Here's some food for thought, right? And I actually did some rundown. Since 2000, when it comes to the New England Patriots drafting wide receivers, and not counting this year, obviously, but since 2000, right, 17 wide receivers have been drafted, right? None of those wide receivers ended up being Pro Bowl talents, all right? None of those 17 wide receivers drafted since 2000, omitting 2021, have made it to the Pro Bowl. Furthermore, only 7 wide receivers drafted were in rounds 1 through 3, okay? Only 7 of those 17 wide receivers were drafted in rounds 1 to 3. All right, so now you take it a step further, peeling back another layer of the onion to get to the core. As I always like to say, none of those wide receivers have fulfilled their rookie contracts. They were either traded, released, or waived. Okay, so now you're looking at this. Wow, this is right. This is gold. Yeah, it is. Here's peeling back another layer of the onion to really get to the core. 4 wide receivers were drafted from Florida, the state of Florida, University, which is the University of Miami, Florida, Florida State, and Central Florida. That's 25% success rate on drafting the state of Florida products. Only 3 wide receivers panned out. 2 of them happened to be in round 7. All right, that's an 18% success rate. And if you want to talk about the rundown on those players that were drafted since 2000, omitting the 2021 NFL draft class, again, I cover all 32. I have you covered. Here we go. In 2002, round 2, number 65, wide receiver Deion Branch was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. 2002, round 7, number 253, David Givens. 2003, round 2, number 45, wide receiver Bethel Johnson traded to the New Orleans Saints. 2004, round 5, number 164, wide receiver PK Sam. 2006, they drafted in the second round, number 36, Chad Jackson, who was released before his contract was up. 2008, round 5, number 153, wide receiver Matthew Slater has 1 catch for 46 yards in his entire career. He was only used as a special teams ace. All right. 2009, third round, number 83, wide receiver Brandon Tate. He was released before his contract was up as a 3rd round pick. 2009, round 7, number 232, that was wide receiver Julian Edelman. Great guy, great beast. And he should, there's questions whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes, I think he should be. 2010, round 3, number 90, wide receiver Taylor Price. He was waived before his contract is up as a 3rd round pick. 2012, round 7, number 235, Jeremy Ebert. 2013, round 7, number 59, Aaron Dobson, released before his contract was up as a 2nd round pick. 2013, round 4, number 102, wide receiver Josh Boyce. 2014, round 7, number 244, Jeremy Gallen. 2016, round 4, number 112, Malcolm Mitchell. 2016, round 7, number 225, wide receiver Devin Lucien. or Lucen. I can't pronounce his last name. 2018, round 6, number 210, wide receiver Braxton Berrios. And 2019, first round, number 32, wide receiver N'Keal Harry, who requested a trade, right? 2021 doesn't count, but it's round 7, number 242, trade Nixon. All right, so let's talk about N'Keal Harry right now. He has 45 catches for 414 yards and 4 touchdowns off 81 targets, right? So why does he request a trade? Well, one, he knows he's buried on the depth chart. Anytime you have Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Jonas Smith, and Hunter Henry there, you're going to be buried on the depth chart, and obviously you're going to want out because you want to fight for that second contract. You're not going to get that in New England. So there's that. There's that. All right, here we go. The one thing that I fear with young quarterbacks that can run is that they tend to give up on pass rushes too soon and rely on their legs. Yes, true. That is true. That is true. What's up, G? You are very, very correct and right. All right, Melissa Phillips says standard. You're in a standard league. I like it. See, I like standard. Most people like PPR. No, I guess it's give or take. I think it's half-half. Should pick a tight end or wide receiver or a quarterback first. I need to know your scoring system. If it's standard, I know that league is standard, but what's your scoring system like? None big names that would be good picks. I know football, but we have never played fantasy football. Fantasy football is a different beast, man. You can't just pick the best player. You got to pick the best fantasy player. You got to base it on touches. I mean, there's a huge formula algorithm that you can kind of develop on your own and go away that way. Brent Tanamachi says, massive giveaway. Love it, Beast Rider. Thank you, Brent. Mahalo for the love. Jerry Yang says, Clinton Dix. I thought it said Clinton on Dix. Clinton Dix has the best name in football, too. Yeah. Alejandro Malanche says, I don't know if you guys know about the Monica Lewinsky joke with Ha Clinton Dix, but that every time I think of Ha Clinton Dix, I think of Monica Lewinsky joke. Alejandro Malanche says, what do you think about the Jags rumor to put former 9th pick of 2020 drafts cornerback CJ Henderson on the trade block? Yeah. Why is that? Well, Trent Baalke's transitioning from a 4-3 to a 34 base front, which is why Joe Schobert was traded in the first place, because he wanted his guys, obviously, and he doesn't want to be tied to that big money contract that Joe Schobert signed the year prior. But with that being said, you also saved the team almost $8 million in cap savings, and the Jags now have $38 million in cap savings for the upcoming year, upcoming year. The season hasn't officially started yet. For the upcoming season, which ranks number 1 in the NFL. Now, with that being said, you then trade CJ Henderson, who obviously is still on a rookie deal. So if there's a team who sees talent in him and they think they like his traits enough that he can fit under their system and maybe revive his career, then I see you go ahead and make that play. Now, who are those teams? Well, it all depends on the financial cap and whether they feel that he's worthy, right? So we saw it with guys like Javon Hargreaves, right? Or not Javon Hargreaves. Why am I talking Javon Hargreaves? Vernon Hargreaves, right? For the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? What's his name? Vernon Hargreaves? Hargreaves. You guys know who I'm talking about. Anyways, he was a guy who was traded, right? So ultimately, how's this all going to play out? I don't know. I have to do a little legwork on that. Again, I can go ahead and run my analysis and talk to some people here. We have Fortnite's Ultimate Report in the house. Fortnite's Ultimate Report, how are you doing today, bro?
Man, I took a week off from work, trying to, all the stress from running the channel and going to work. So now I got my mind back to normal. Tomorrow, I'm doing my big giveaway. And then also I'm going to be watching the 49ers, talking about the 49ers, the preseason, my reaction. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
That's cool. What do you want to talk about today?
So I wanted to, ask your opinion about something because.
What happened now?
John, I don't know if you heard already about John Lynch.
I heard about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I just think he's adding fuel to the fire to kind of motivate Kyle Shanahan. Well, yeah, Kyle Shanahan too, because it's kind of like a cryptic message, right? There's like a subliminal message meaning behind it, but at the end of the day, when you send a message like that just weeks before the NFL season, how much weight is already in play? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is basically numb to everything that comes his way. I mean, you just see the body language on him, right? Like I said, I used to play poker all the time, and you can read by their body language, and just by the body language alone, Jimmy Garoppolo is just like, F it, dude. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think. Like, whatever. It is what it is. I can only control what I can control. I have my teammates who have my back. George Kittle is one of my biggest supporters. He's a team leader. So we're just going to roll with it. And in their eyes, in Jimmy Garoppolo's camp, they're seeing as everyone as haters, right? There's a disconnect there between haters or non-haters. And that's where social media kind of comes into play. It's because you're teetering the fence here. Are you going to remain loyal to the faithful no matter who's behind center? Or are you going to take a stance and say, I don't care who's behind center, it should be Trey Lance? I mean, that's the disconnect that we're having among the faithful. And that's why you see everybody fighting. And is there a wrong answer? No. Why? Because ultimately, none of us are making that decision. It's Kyle Shanahan. So we can bicker and bicker all we want, but at the end of the day, we don't, technically, it's not our decision. We don't have the end voice, right? So what John Lynch said, I think it's no surprise. Yeah, of course he's going to be pushing to be the starter. If he came out and told me in the NFL media and the 49ers beat writers here, we're sitting here and we're sitting with John Lynch in the media workroom in our office, and he comes into our office and says anything else, we're going to run all over that. But like, what do you mean he's not going to be pushing the starter? Of course he is, because he traded 3 first-round picks. Anything other than him not being seen as the future or as the starter is going to admit fault on John Lynch's fault that he made a mistake. The problem is there is no mistake. Trey Lance is doing everything exceptionally well. So far, right? Because he hasn't really played the live NFL snap. And I don't want people to get all too happy about Trey Lance's game tomorrow. He's going to have a tremendous game. If you want to know a stat line, here I am, and I'm just going to put it out there. I don't care. So here you're at the 1 hour and 10-minute mark, 11-minute mark. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. I think he's going to throw somewhere in between. I mean, depending on how many snaps he plays, but let's say he plays 2 quarters? Would you say he plays 2 quarters? If he plays 2 quarters, I think he's going to have a stat line similar to 12 of 16, 12 of 16. He'll have 16 pass attempts, 12 of 16 for maybe 125 yards or 150 yards, somewhere around there, and a touchdown, right? And then he's also going to rush, maybe 1 or 2 times or 2 or 3 times, depending on if they run the zone read option and how much they want to expose Trey Lance and opening that playbook to get his feet wet and acclimated to the NFL game. But I think he'll have, a few rushes for maybe 25 yards. I think he's going to go for a big run of 10, 12 yards and get a first down. I think he's going to scramble for a first down. Faithful is going to go crazy. That's why we got Trey Lance. We need to bench Jimmy Garoppolo right now. You see him extend that play with his legs. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. And that's just the way it's going to go. But I'm not going to get too high. Why? Because the defense is not really going to show their cards either. It's very vanilla. If you watch preseason, it's very vanilla. I mean, you can go back to the days of NFL Europe, where NFL Europe, the 49ers had a guy by the name of Jamal Robertson who led the NFL in preseason rushing yards. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's going to be the future. He's so dang good. And he played for the Rainfire. And no, it's the preseason, guys. So, I mean, let's take it one step at a time and not get ahead of ourselves. But no, I think Trey Lance is going to be just fine. But again, I don't look at a preseason game as NFL live action. I look at it as a way to get your feet wet, where Kyle Shanahan is not going to give him too much, but not expose him too much as well to the playbook, and just let him get acclimated slowly to the NFL game.
Yeah, and then I wanted to also get your thoughts of, this Clinton Dix, and of course, there's a lot of things, that are coming out. One of the reasons why he's not on the team. Was there any reason why he wasn't on any team? And do you think the Niners did a good job by bringing him in? Because I like Clinton Dix. I'm a little bit biased.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of Clinton Dix. I'm not a fan. I just think he's a plug and play for a veteran leadership presence. Look, he was on the street for so long. And if he was that good and that talented, or if he still had it, then a team would have picked him up. A team would have worked him out and said, you know what, this is a good bargain. Because as you get later on, as people are formulating their rosters, so your margin for making the NFL roster becomes obsolete or not as strong, because again, the GM has to look at it and say, hey, look, we're going to bring this guy in just 2 weeks before the start of the regular season. How much is he really going to absorb the playbook? I mean, he's the back end of the defense. Yeah, you don't have to teach him too much because you're just running, a cover shell on the back end. But there are some things that you need to know, because at the end of the day, the safety is usually the quarterback of the secondary. And it's going to be interesting because he is a veteran leadership. So from a plug and play standpoint, I think he can look at the playbook and be like, okay, cool. Okay, so if we're running this, so the foundational traits of learning the system is already in place. So you're not having a Talanoa Hufanga coming in, right, learning the playbook. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure Hog Clinton Dix has a better grasp of the playbook than Hufanga, if I had to take a guess, right? Because he's coming in as a rookie. So from a plug and play standpoint, I like it, but I'm not going to say he's going to be a Pro Bowl player. You're not going to hear that from me. That's just my prediction. And again, time will tell to see how that one plays out.
And then I wanted to get also your thoughts because you're an exercise guy. When it comes to fitness, the 49ers been dealing with injuries. Tart, with this turf toe. How?
Oh man.
Yeah. So do you think he's done? Because he's been dealing it for a while.
Turf toe injuries are one of the craziest injuries that you can have because it's a lingering issue. It's like the same thing that wide receiver Justin Jefferson had with that AC joint sprain. And then the coaches by the way, the Vikings have a new medical staff in place. All right. And they called it a non-serious injury. They said it's not serious. It is serious. Anytime you have an AC joint sprain, you're talking about ligament damage, right? Any type of sprain is considered ligament damage. And what can happen is arthritis can develop, right? Due to that torn ligament. So with that being said, it is serious. So going back to Jaquiski Tart, is a turf toe injury serious? Yes, it is. It's very serious because again, it can be lingering. I mean, it's your toe. That's where you get your lateral agility. That's where you get your push off. That's where you get your explosion. It's from what? It's from your legs, right? It's from your legs. And it all starts with your feet. How do you have quick feet? How do you have the COD, what I like to call the COD, right? Change of direction skills. Like, do you have those? Do you have what it takes? Because again, in the NFL, especially on the back end, split 10th of a second can mean the difference between a touchdown and an interception, right? So that's why I think it is a problem. And let's face it, Jaquiski Tart, I love you, Jaquiski Tart, but you've been a little bit injury prone, right? I mean, let's go back. I mean, injuries happen. Now, I'm not saying, it's his fault. I mean, injuries happen. I mean, people just get injured for whatever the case may be. I hope he bounces back in a positive way, but ultimately we just have to see how that plays out. And if I was, I'm not a physical therapist, but if I was looking at that toe injury and it's a nagging, aggravating problem, I mean, that's some cause for concern. That's a very cause for concern. I mean, just walking, right? Just think about just walking on it. Like, you think you can actually walk on it? Okay, now we have to start jogging on it. Let's see how much pressure you can put on that. Let's see how does that affect your core balance? How does it affect your contact balance, as people say now, that term that's being used, which I don't like. I like using core balance because it's usually your core. Contact is based off the core. Anyways, whatever the case may be, how is that going to affect you, right? So it has what's called a kinetic chain. Our bodies are aligned a certain way, and depending on where our injuries have, it can mess up our kinetic chain or our alignment. So that can throw off everything. And ultimately, I hope Jaquiski Tart gets healthy because I want to see him succeed. I think he will. But how long this injury is going to take, I don't know. I'm not in that medical room, but it is a serious injury for sure, in my opinion. And a nagging one. It hurts, man. Like it. Yeah, I can only imagine. But anyway,
I had a high ankle sprain just by walking and running, and the pain is like, I don't know how to describe it. It took a while, and I wasn't doing any type of sports. So even normal people can get hurt, maybe people slip in the shower, they get injured. So, injuries happen. So, it's just what they do, they play football, very physical sport. And when they get hurt, it really does affect the team. So that's, why I was asking those questions, because there are a lot of people who are saying, certain things, they're not no doctors and they think, this and that. But I wanted to ask you because, as I mentioned, you train your body, you understand that. I just wanted to get, your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So that's just kind of how it is. And thank you for that question. Because a lot of people ask me, for instance, right tackle Mike McGlinchey, right? People are saying, oh, he gained so much weight. And I'm going to talk about this. And Randy Mueller liked it because he wants to know too. I know he does. Otherwise you want to like the tweet. But Mike McGlinchey, what do you think people are asking, where do I see his most strength coming back with that in terms of weight? And I look at it and I look at him, I'm like, man, immediately you see it in his overall frame. Like you can see he's doing a lot of powerlifting now. So he's getting bigger and he's filling out a little bit more. So I can guarantee you, he has a bigger trunk. in my opinion. His arms are a lot bigger. I think that's first thing you look at. So he's doing a lot of push-pull movements at the line of scrimmage, right? So you're going to want to do a lot of push-pull movements when you're working out, right? Something that's functional that you're doing that translates onto the football field. It's not matter, like I always say this, it's FOE, form over everything. Doesn't matter how much weight you can push. I mean, that's impressive in itself. But at the end of the day, how does that translate onto the field? And does that help you ultimately help your team win, right? So a lot of push-pull movements, I see him doing those things, and I can tell by the way his physique is. And for those who don't know, right tackle Mike McGlinchey, the first conversation I had his rookie year is he sees me in the 49ers locker room. He says, "Hey, come here real fast." And he pulls me aside. He says, "How do I get arms like you? How do I get biceps like you?" And I literally told him, I said, "Hey, man, we can go on about this on forever." But I was telling him about bicep curls. I was talking about hammer curls. I was talking about the different heads of the bicep. And he was actually like absorbing it. You can tell it. His eyes just lit up. And he was just like, I'm interested. Like, I'm like, go on. Like, I want to know. And I was telling him, I was like, you can't just lift heavy weights, and there's pronation, there's subnation, supination, and you really got to figure out what's best for you, because your physique is different from mine, right? So you have longer arms, I have shorter arms. So exactly what's your range of motion? Do you have, and then you go in details. Okay, there's a preacher curl. Oh, what's a preacher curl? Or I teach them spider curl. What's a spider curl? Well, let me show you what a spider curl is. And so, as I'm talking to him, it's like, dude, I never knew about this. And he's like, no. I was like, no one ever told you the difference of the different bicep head. No one told me. Long head, short head. No one told me. So hopefully he picked up on those things. And if you're watching, right tackle Mike McGlinchey, send me some business, dude. Get me more guys. If you did use my workouts. Yeah. So I like Mike McGlinchey. I think he got bigger overall, not just in his upper body, but his lower body as well. And I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to do better. But time will tell us how that one plays out as well. All right. Stefano says, when will you be announcing the winner? I think I'm going to be announcing the winner. Obviously, it's going to be later tonight, if not early tomorrow morning. And the winners will be released on my social media platforms that you have to subscribe to. So if you're not on those social media platforms, you will not know if you're the winner or not. That's how I keep track. Otherwise, you'll not know. And most likely, it's going to be posted on Discord. So it's going to be posted on Discord. As for the winners, you have to get a Discord and subscribe to the Discord. All right. So with that being said, anything else that's on your mind before I let you go?
Yeah. Before I go, I want to say I saw your Twitter. You had like a medal, like you won a contest. I want to say, good for you, man. Well, whatever that was.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what you see right here. Oh, well, that's two of them actually. And then I have more on this side, and then I have more over here. That was back in 20. That was 20. I think that was 2018. Yeah. But anyways, that was my first nationally qualified show to turn pro, and I was gonna still nationally qualified to turn pro. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing it during football season because it's just too hard. I'm covering football. I can't do it. I tried it last time, and I just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. I went to Sacramento. It was not happening. So I'm going to take the year off. Once football season is done, I'm going to go on, and then we're going to cycle back on and see if I can turn pro. But yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. And I'm so glad you're back on streaming as always. It's always great talking to you, man.
Yeah, we're on. Are you on Twitch, bro? You should get on Twitch. You should join Discord and get on Twitch. I'm serious, man, because like Discord's like the thing, I guess. Everyone's on Discord now. So get a Discord, and then you can join our Beast Rider family in there, and you'll get notifications on everything without having to cycle through all the social media platforms, which is kind of nice. And it keeps the engagement going when we're not posting on videos. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I finally got on Instagram, so I'm getting there slowly.
I saw you. Yeah. Oh, you're on it. I'm following you, right? Am I following you? I'm following you, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll check. Yeah.
No, I think I'm following you, dude. Yeah. If that's you. Is there someone that's making a fake account of you? Then I don't know, man.
No. Like I said, I'm on Instagram. Like I said, I'm getting there slowly. Yeah.
It's baby steps, bro. It's all about baby steps, man. It's all good, man. Like we're all learning every single day. It's all about raising each other up, and again, home of the good vibes only. So as long as you continue grinding, people respect that. It doesn't matter if they like you or don't like you. I think no one can question a person's grind, right? And I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man. If you're passionate about something, it's going to shine through. So keep it up. Keep it up. All right. Well, that was 49ers Ultimate Report in the Beast Rider family. Donald Burnell says, hey, bro, love your program. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love and support. Do me a favor to share this. You're on Facebook. Share this live stream as we're posting it. And we are running full Family Friday giveaways. We are launching 2 49er tickets, season tickets of mine in section 134. All you have to do is subscribe to my social media platforms before and below, and you'll be entered for those giveaways. We're giving away 2 tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs 49ers games tomorrow, and 2 lucky winners are going to be chosen at random. And then I'm going to leave it up to my moderators to go ahead and select that. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to leave it up to you guys, and I'll be the one announcing it. I think we're going to announce it on Discord as well as all our social media platforms, but you have to verify that you're on all social media platforms in order to win the award. So that's my admin team and moderators. You guys are in charge of that one. 49er Giant Warrior says, I want to see Lance, but if Jimmy getting it done, I'm with that too. Bang, bang, Niner gang. I like it. There's Mel, diehard Niner fan. Almost says, aloha, Beast. Aloha, how are you? I see you. JP Edward de Dios, my man. Arizona Cardinal fan base says Kyler had an AC joint injury and he wasn't the same player. Yeah, why? Because it affects what? The AC joint affects what? The collarbone, right? Right? So if you fracture that area, right, that shoulder neck area, I guess you would say, it can really have a lasting effect on you. And I don't think Justin Jefferson's injury is not serious. I think it's very serious. I think he's going to be back week 1, but to say that, how come no one's reporting it? How come no one's reporting the grade? Look, I already tweeted this out, and I talked about this in earlier live streams. If Justin Jefferson, if I was in the Vikings media right now, I'd be like, okay, Justin Jefferson's injuries, you say it's not serious, but what's the grade? If it's a grade 1 or grade 2, you're in the clear. If it's grade 3 or grade 4, now we're talking. It's pretty freaking serious, because grade 3 or 4 is bad, like really bad. So I would be like, okay, so what kind of grade is it? Is it a grade 1? Is it a grade 2? Is it a grade 3? That will determine how serious the injury is. I think that's the first thing you should ask when people have injuries is, what kind of grade is it? What's the grade? Just like we grade players, what's the grade? Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4? The higher the grade, the higher the seriousness of that injury. Oh, he's going to be out a few weeks. We didn't want him here at the stadium. Everything's cool. Really? If it was cool, he would probably be at the stadium just watching practice if everything's cool. No, it's not serious, though, I promise. It's not serious. Wow. I think it's serious. Serious enough to where he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. I think that's serious. All right. Well, that'll be it for today. I hope you liked what I had to say. If you did, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. To be in for our Family Friday giveaways, do me a solid and subscribe to all our social media platforms, which is in the description box below. Discord, I'm going to go ahead and post that and repost it on Discord. If you're on Twitter, the link is in my bio. Also, it should be in all my other social media platforms as well. So go ahead and subscribe to your boy, and we're going to select 2 lucky winners for tomorrow's Kansas City Chiefs vs. 49ers games. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. Beast Rider out.